Hi everyone, it's Trevor the Whinging Pom again. Now today's stories are about some things that are, amusing, and some stories are very sad actually. But anyway, I started work when I was 14 in 1964, and I worked for a bloke called Lloyd Seaman. Now we used to put in air conditioning, we used to service Vulcan oil heaters, and also we used to convert Aga wood cookers to oil. Anyway, this one day we were working at King William Street, corner King William Street and North Terrace. And I think the building was the BP building, I think is what it was called. So we're up about 4 or 5 flights, man, to put an air conditioner in. Anyway, I had to attach the drain from outside the window. So Lloyd attached me to a rope, then held the bottom of my legs, and I had to literally hang out that window, putting the drain on. I'll tell you something, was that pretty scary. Anyway, the same bloke, Lloyd, a lovely man, really was a lovely man. We had to put an air conditioner in at Brighton Hotel, and it was on the first floor accommodation area. Anyway, what we used to do is we'd knock a hole through the wall, put the wooden frame in, then put the rubber around, put soap around it, and then slide the air conditioner in, then screw it. So we put 2 screws that side, 2 screws that side, and 2 screws at the top. Anyway, as we're lifting it, I realised that Lloyd hadn't put the screws in. So I goes, Lloyd said, shut up and just put the bloody thing in, will you? Because he had a foul temper. And I said, okay. So he slid it in, he went straight out and straight onto the floor. And he turned around to me real sharp and said, what were you going to say? I said, oh, nothing, Lloyd, nothing. Thank God I kept my mouth shut that day, I tell you. Another time we were doing a job at Fairview Park for Kennedy Transports. Very rich bloke. He actually bought 4 blocks of land in front of him so it wouldn't spoil his view. Anyway, so I put this air conditioning in, and Lloyd said to me, knock a hole through the wall, because you had to go from the garage to the main house. Anyway, so I started knocking through, and a little hole appeared, and I thought, oh shit, I think we're in his bedroom. So I said to Lloyd, I said, Lloyd, I think we've gone into his bedroom. He said, don't be so bloody stupid, I measured it all, just knock it out. So I did. And this big game off in this bloke's bedroom. He was not impressed, I tell you. Oh, God. Anyway, when I worked for PHR, I was actually working in Port Augusta as a duct director, installing ductwork for air conditioning. And one day on this A-frame ladder like this, and I slipped, and I spread eagle myself, and you can imagine what happened. Anyway, I was actually at the hospital, so they took me to the emergency room and goes in there, and all my balls, I should say, had swollen up because of what happened. Anyway, the doctor looked inside, nothing, nothing bad, you'll be all right, just put some special cream on it. So anyway, the nurse put this cream on it, and it hurt all day. But anyway, all the blokes were going to a bit of a party that night, so I went along, and I'm sitting having a few drinks. This woman come up and said, oh, I remember you. You're the bloke with the big balls. She was the nurse that put the ointment on me. Now that's embarrassing. When I worked in Canberra, I was doing a job in Canberra, I got offered a job by Bell's Australia. We're in Sydney. Really good pay as a lead hand. So I moved Kelly and Sarah, who was about 3 at the time, we had our own caravan, moved them to Sydney. And I used to work with them, worked there probably a year and a half, 2 years, I suppose. And nearly all the blokes were either Vietnamese or Cambodian. So there was only 2 bosses. There was me and a bloke by the name of Don. He was a lovely man too. Unfortunately, that he found his son hanging one day. Poor bugger. He never got over it. He used to do marijuana every day. I think that was just to forget, but a lovely man. Anyway, so I mainly worked with Cambodians. I worked with King Hong, Kim Hong, and Kim Lee. And I can't remember the name of the other bloke. But Kim Hong used to work in the Cambodian embassy in Canberra. And when Khmer Rouge took over, he couldn't go back to Cambodia because he would have been executed. Do you know, all his family's wiped out, a whole lot. How terrible is that, you know? He was left in Australia with nobody, no relatives at all. And Kim Lee, he was captured by the Khmer Rouge, and they hung him for 2 days by his arms. And they deprived him of sleep to see if he could speak English, which he could perfectly. But of course, as soon as if he ever spoke English while he's being tortured, they would have executed him. So he managed to escape Cambodia with his brother. Anyway, on the way over, they got attacked by pirates. And Kim Lee survived, but his brother drowned. And yet, you know, these people are so happy. And you think to yourself, why would you be happy? Why? But anyway, I become very close friends with Kim Lee. In fact, he'd bring his Cambodian food and I'd bring my Australian food, like sandwiches and, you know, cake and all that. So we used to swap food every day. Anyway, this one day we're working at Botany Bay, or Botany, I should say, and had this Kiwi working there. He turns around to Kim Lee and says, "Hey, is it true you blokes eat dogs?" And Kim Lee, quick as anything, said, "Why, you got one?" Yeah, absolutely lovely people. But I'll tell you something now, if it wasn't bolted down, they'd steal it. Not from friends or people I knew, from companies. I remember once going to Canberra to pick up a big toolbox, and it would have had about $3,000 or $4,000 for tools in it. All gone. And then when I left there to come back to Mount Gambier, because our daughter had a waiting period of 3 years to see an ear specialist. So we ended up coming back to Mount Gambier to get her ears fixed. And he took me into his shed. You want to see what he had? He had everything. Ladders, drills, cut-off saws, you name it. But like I said, wonderful man. Anyway, my last story is a bit funny. I used to work with a bloke called Eddie Serbo for PHR. And we used to do duck directing. Anyway, our supervisor was a Scotsman. And by lunchtime, he used to be waving around. What the hell's going on? Anyway, so he was out on the job site one day. So one of the blokes tried his coffee. It was 3/4 full of whiskey. So I had a little bit of coffee at the top. But he was a good bloke. Anyway, this Eddie Serbo used to be a bit of a comedian. So when we worked on multi-storey buildings, we'd all stand there and watch him. We'd be hanging over. And he'd stand up there, pull his old boy out, and have a small cup of water when someone walked past him, pour it on him. And the bloke would look up and see his old boy there. And, "Oh, sorry, mate. I didn't see you walking there." Anyway, so that's good old Eddie Serbo, I should say. Now, for my joke of the day. Bloke walks into a butcher's. He said, "I would like an Eglinton duck, please." So the butcher looked at him and went around the back room and come out with duck. The bloke sticks his finger in the duck's bum. And he said, no, that's a Yorkshire duck." "Oh, okay." So he goes back out again and comes back out again with another duck, and the bloke sticks his finger in the duck's bum. And he said, "That's a Somerset duck." Bloody hell. So he said, "I'll give it one more go." So he comes out again. Bloke sticks his finger in the bum of the duck and he says, "Oh, that's an Eglinton duck." Anyway, the customer says to the butcher, said, "Where are you from?" So the butcher bent over and said, "You tell me." Right, that's it for today. I hope you have a wonderful day. I love you all. God bless. We'll catch you next time.